Do it.
I sold $84,000 of an over-the-counter product. It was $9.99,
Yeah.
and it was selling on Amazon at the time for $29.99. Those 10 items, it went cha-ching, 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 cha-ching in the first 20 minutes that I had them live on Amazon.
They were gone in 20 minutes?
20 minutes.
Can you share what it was? You
List
have to give
them.
the exact item with like
Oh,
what
it's not a secret now. It was...
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here with Rake and Profit over rakeandprofit.com, coming back to you with another video. I'm here with Dee, the Amazon FBA woman, right? Is that what you're known as?
You got it, Steve.
How you doing? What's going on?
I'm Amazon FBA woman, and my friends call me Dee.
Yeah, so I met Dee for the first time at the Connecticut Thrifting Meetup. We're here at the eBay to Amazon mentorship meetup, I guess, but not everyone here is doing only eBay to Amazon.
Let's call it mastermind.
Yeah, just the mastermind, right? It's the Amazon mastermind.
So you know it.
We got about 23, 24 people that came together from all over the country. We're here in Oklahoma. We're talking about online arbitrage. We're talking about just Amazon in general. A lot of people here are doing eBay to Amazon. You do a little bit, right? You dabble.
I don't dabble.
Yeah.
I don't dabble. I was dabbling before I realized you were doing it as a course. Because when I initially started X amount of years ago,
Yeah.
you and Avery Romer Martin,
Yeah.
were my mentors.
Yeah.
I watched all your videos. I locked myself up in a room for 2 weeks. And then I got going with my Amazon business. And then I met you, and you had the novel idea, or what was novel to me at least, about E to A flips.
Yeah.
And I had come across, I was selling textbooks.
Oh, okay.
And I'd come across several counterfeits, and I didn't know it was counterfeit. I was
Yeah.
getting them at like estate sales, garage
Yeah.
sales. I joined your course because I know that you have the guides.
Yeah,
how to
yeah,
spot
yeah.
counterfeit,
Yeah.
how to spot unethical sellers, how to do everything within Amazon's guidelines.
Yeah.
And because I was worried, I'm like,
Yeah.
it's
It's
what's the
scary
difference?
nowadays with all that. Yeah.
You know, if you buy a book at a garage sale, you don't know where it comes from. If you buy
Yeah.
a book used and you're in college, you don't know where it comes from.
Yeah.
But if you want to unload those books, you don't know if you have a counterfeit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not experienced enough in books. You're a book expert, but I'm not. So I knew I needed help with that. So
Yeah.
the course was so cheap. For the value you get out of it, the course was so cheap. It was a no-brainer.
Well, that's a good thing.
I
I'm
take
happy,
the course,
yeah.
you sell a couple textbooks, you've already paid for the course. You're
Yeah.
writing off the course, and you're getting the profit from the textbook.
Yeah. And you're doing DVDs now too, right? So you started with...
Well,
you
I
started-
do use DVDs because I
Yeah.
get my new DVDs from my distributor. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's some old titles out there that you just can't get anymore.
So you're doing only used with eBay to Amazon, just to keep your...
Yeah, I'm only doing used for used.
Yeah.
The textbooks are used. I would never sell textbooks new anyway.
Yeah, of
And,
course.
the DVDs are used because,
Yeah.
like Jackie Gleason and all those old ones that aren't being made anymore.
Yeah.
People still want those.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there's still people that buy VHS tapes.
Yeah.
But there's people that want it in DVD
Yeah.
format because they're tried and true. So, like, I Love Lucy and those things. You can't get your hands on them from.
I love selling I Love Lucy.
Oh,
by
I
the way.
know. And
Little
it's
tip
fun.
right there.
And it's fun.
Don't flip I Love Lucy. No money to be made.
Well, but it's still fun.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, I will watch the DVDs to make sure that they're not skipping or scratched. You
Yeah.
don't have to, but because
Yeah.
I'm buying the titles, I'm like,
You want to keep it safe, enjoy it, you know?
no, it's like going back to my childhood a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't have much time to watch TV, so when
Yeah.
I get a DVD, it's like I have permission to
Yeah.
watch something.
So we've become friends over the probably the last couple years
you
or
call
so.
it friend?
Oh man, all right. Well,
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
fine. Best friends. We're
Okay,
best
best
friends.
friends.
Yeah. So the last couple of years, you've come a long way. You've been doing a lot of things. You've been helping a lot of people. You have a YouTube channel.
I do.
Yes. Yep.
I did it because you encouraged me to do it. Because I appeal to the older ladies and the people that are getting ready to retire.
How do
who
people
want-
find that?
I'm on YouTube and Facebook, all those socials
What's
actually.
the name of it? Is it just FBA?
Amazon FBA woman.
Amazon FBA woman. So I'll link that down below. Even here, there's a couple ladies that you've built a little kind of tribe with, right?
After the Miami 2023 conference.
2022, yes. Yeah, 2022.
No,
Was that
2023. I didn't go to 22. So at 23,
Okay, yeah. Time flies.
I stayed in your Airbnb with your group,
Oh, yeah.
the
yeah.
group, the E to A group, and I met a couple of women there about
Yeah.
my age, and now we do a weekly mastermind call. We're not taking new people in the mastermind
Yeah,
call.
yeah.
There's only the three of us.
Yeah.
We're keeping it that
Yeah.
way because we share leads and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But we've grown tremendously as a result.
You know what we should? I get a lot of women who reach out and maybe they're around my mom's age or they're in the 50s, 60s, even 70s.
Are you
and
calling
they
me
don't-
old enough to be
No,
your
no,
mother?
no, no,
'Cause
no,
I
no.
am.
But they say, they're like, oh, I can't do this. I'm too old. It's a young person's game. What do you have to say to the folks who who think, because you probably see this a lot, like, can I really do this? Because you see a lot of young guys and gals making videos and stuff. So what do you say to that?
Well, I don't know. Selling comes naturally to me. Well, it doesn't come naturally to me, but I love the process. I have always gone to yard sales and stuff. If you're someone who likes yard sales and thrift stores and things like that, but you don't want to have all this stuff in your house, you'd be a hoarder, you know.
Yeah.
I've gone into homes that have so many books. It's a
Because
fire
you're
hazard.
FBA, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's something where I can do it from home at my own pace. Nobody's breathing down my neck. I retired out of my job during COVID because of health issues within my family, with family members. I couldn't take the chance of bringing home illness.
Understood.
And I had to do something. It wasn't like I was financially stable and could just retire into the sunset, which would be beautiful. So selling on Amazon, after having sold on eBay and other platforms, I was always afraid of Amazon, the big platform, you know, the mother of all platforms. But there's so much help out there that you couldn't get when I started. There's so many YouTubes, you know, your YouTube videos, other people's YouTube videos. So it's basically, if you have a question about anything, you can either look it up on YouTube, or if they're like attached to your course somehow, they can talk to you.
Yeah.
Or one of your team leaders or lead champions and get an answer right away versus...
But what do you say to the people out there like, oh, I'm in my 40s, 50s, 60s. Like,
I'm pushing 60.
This is a young person's game. What do you say to those folks?
No, age is not an issue here whatsoever, because everybody has different goals. Some people are just doing this as a hobby. They want to make, you know, maybe 5 to 100 to 1,000 a month. Just...
That's like my mom.
Yeah.
She just wants to supplement her Social Security, which doesn't pay very much.
Well, quite frankly, that's all I needed to do. But once I got the hang of it, once I got the hang of Amazon and saw the sky is the limit, there's nothing more adrenaline charging than seeing a sale come through a few days after you sent it to Amazon. I love your
passion. She gets so excited. Like, this isn't an act for camera. You have to meet her in real life sometime.
This is the one downfall. Once you get involved in selling on Amazon, and every time, the more you send in, the more money you make. It's almost like legalized gambling.
I told Dineen when she got here, I was like, this isn't actually a mastermind. This is an intervention for your addiction to Amazon.
I do have an Amazon addiction, and I'll tell you, my spouse sometimes, he's glad when I come to these. We only get together twice a year in a house like this.
Yeah, so you order boxes and ship it, and then he has to bring it in.
Sometimes he's like, if I hear that word Amazon one more time, I'm going to self-implode. It's like, well, Amazon's putting food on the table, paying for utilities, paying for our vacation. So thank God I got involved in that.
Is it the money that gets you excited about Amazon, or is it what gets you so? Because you're very interesting. Like, you are so passionate. Like, I could see Amazon like bleeds out of you. Like, blood, sweat, and tears.
No, it's not
right?
the money. Although the money is a great motivator, because I do like to eat and have eat in the winter.
Yeah,
and that required money's required.
That's a necessity.
I needed somebody to spark my intellectual thirst. I need something to fill my intellectual thirst. And the learning process going into Amazon, although you make it pretty freaking easy, you know, I did a lot of the learning in the beginning before I realized you had training groups on my own. And that can be overwhelming. Although anybody who can
Did you feel lonely kind of doing it?
Yeah, it was sort of, you know, I was by myself every day, and on the weekends going to the estate sales and the thrift shops and all this stuff. As much as I love it, I don't have anyone in my area
you want to talk about it and like problem
solve. Yeah, I want to be
with
around
people.
other people who can appreciate feelings.
And one thing I want to say, like, if anyone thinks they're ever going to get to a point where it's like, oh, I know it all with Amazon, they're lying to you. Like, obviously, I still feel like I'm a little fish. Like, when I come to places like this, some people are doing crazy numbers, but like, things are always changing. There's always new problems. There's always things that are going to piss you off and annoy you and drive you nuts.
Can I tell you something funny?
Yeah.
Avery's mother is in my Facebook, Amazon FBA woman Facebook group.
Oh, really?
He'll tell her stuff and she'll be like, nah. But she'll come to my group and ask me, and I'll tell her, and she's like, thanks, Dee. And I made other friends through there. Between the interaction with my group and you guys, like, I have friends, even though you're not geographically close, we're as close as a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
And even in live coaching calls, I can talk to you through the live coaching call on Tuesdays. That's the only one I can catch in person. But I watch them all in replay. When I go to bed at night, I watch the videos in replay because I pick up little nuggets from the new people, things I may not have necessarily thought about.
Because we all have blind spots, especially like the bigger you get. You might get good at one special area, but then you have 50 other blind spots or things that you don't see. Or my mom said the same thing about Avery. She's like, he talks so fast. Like, I don't understand what he's saying. And it's the same with me too sometimes. I make videos and people are like, what? That's why I love interviewing folks.
You go from step 1 to step 10 and forget to say the other eight.
ADHD too, and it's like, but this is why I'm so excited to have you here. And I was telling people at this mastermind, like, people connect through other stories. Like, if someone's in their 50s or 60s or 70s, like, how are they going to really connect with someone who's 22? Like, it's a different, people are in different phases, different situations. That's why I'm so happy to have you here and talk about your YouTube channel as well, you know?
Let me tell you, I I was in another group for OA, online arbitrage, not books.
Yeah.
For regular products. And somebody who was new to the group said, I found this lead. It's 2,000 in beauty, the rank 2,000, and I'm not able to sell it. Maybe you'd like to do it. And can I tell you?
Are you going to tell the story?
Oh, I already told you the story?
You have to tell the story. This is the best story in the world.
Oh, shut up. Shut up.
I love it.
Did you hear the story?
No, I've never heard the story.
All right.
Do it.
I sold $84,000 of an over-the-counter product. It was $9.99,
Yeah.
and it was selling on Amazon at the time for $29.99. I didn't make the price. That's the price that is
someone
on
told you about
Amazon.
this lead.
And this kid told me about this, and in exchange, I said, well, here's a lead that you maybe can sell because you're brand new.
And that's what happens in communities. If you're not part of communities, people share eventually when you build
Never met
relationships.
this guy. His name
Yeah.
was Joe. I remember his name.
Shout out to Joe.
He texted me in the middle of the night, and we actually made a phone call. For some reason, something made me roll over in bed and look at it. And
Okay.
I was rather new, and I'm like, well, this looks pretty good. So I tested it. I bought like 10 at the
What does that mean
Walmart.
you tested it? You just bought a few to...
I bought a few just to see if they'd sell because this kid was new. And even though it looked good on Amazon, the price and how many people were selling it and stuff, I'd never heard of the stuff before. So I didn't know if it was good or not because I didn't even know how to read a keep-a chart at that
you were
point.
still
I had to
learning.
learn how to read the signs, so to speak, from someone like you. But until then, I was sort of winging it on my own. And I sold the 10 at the time.
Where'd you buy them from?
I bought them from Walgreens, and instead of sending them into Amazon FBA where they handle it all, I did some merchant fulfilling from my house.
So you spent about $100 on 10.
Yes.
Did you use coupons and stuff to get
Nope,
it cheaper?
I
You
just
bought
went
it.
and got it at the full price.
Was it like, so it wasn't clearance, it wasn't special,
No,
it wasn't
no.
overstock, it was just...
But it was during the pandemic, so the supply chain, it was hard to get them after a while.
okay.
Because literally, Steve, I'm not even kidding.
Okay, keep
I was
going,
selling
yeah.
like 100 a day.
Well, I want to tell the whole story. You bought 10, because this
Oh.
is such a fun story. You bought 10, and then you listed it merchant fulfilled.
Yes.
And
And
then
at the
what
time,
happened?
Merchant Fulfilled would make a cha-ching sound every time you made a sale. Those 10 items, it went cha-ching, 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 cha-ching in the first 20 minutes that I had them live on Amazon.
They were gone in 20 minutes?
20 minutes. My husband said, holy we got to get more of these.
Yeah.
So Walgreens sold it, Amazon sold it, not Amazon, Walgreens, and I think I found a few in Target. So there's 38 towns.
Were they in your car when they sold? Did you list it, like when you got into the car?
This is what
Did
I'm telling
go-
you. Rhode Island has 38 cities and towns, and each one has a couple Walmarts and a couple Walgreens. Down in Florida, they're on every corner, but up where I live, there's several. And I was making a route every day and collecting them off the shelves, everything they had, and then I would go home.
Can you share what it was? You
List
have to give
them.
the exact item, but like what
Oh,
category?
it's not a secret now. It was Gold Bond Crepe and Wrinkle Cream. It's a lotion you put on so you don't look so crepey and your face doesn't
So
sag.
you paid 10 a unit,
$9.99,
$9.99. It was selling on Amazon for what?
$29.99.
And Amazon wasn't on the listing.
And I was making $8 or $9 a
Was
tube.
anybody else on the listing?
Yes.
Okay.
There was maybe 20 people on the
Was
list.
there any FBA sellers on the listing?
Yes.
But you were merchant fulfilled and you were still winning the buy box.
Yes. Because when they were sending it in, it wasn't going to be ready. They were back
Because the
ordered.
supply chain was all whacked
Supply
out.
chain was whacked out. So merchant fulfilled, they could get it from me within 2 days. But if they were going to buy it from FBA, it wasn't going to be available for like 3 weeks.
And what would you net on that minus fees? And you have to
About
ship
$9. It was first class mail. It just went in a
$9
little
on
bubble
each
mail.
one. That's like 100% ROI, just about.
That's right. But listen to this. In 90 days, I sold $84,500 worth of this one product, and I netted $39,000. So with that money,
FBA woman.
that money was my seed money for my first wave of inventory. And this happened, I remember, I finished
2020, right? Yeah.
a 3-day course on February 28th. And by March 1st, I already started selling. But this is it.
Yeah.
By March 10th, it was
yeah.
just freaking incredible.
Yeah.
My husband got so excited. He was like, oh my God. He goes, listen to all those dings. I couldn't turn it off. I had to put my phone on silent.
I was going to say, how do you sleep at nighttime?
It was hard.
How many sales per day were you
But don't get me
making?
wrong, Steve. It wasn't easy because I would clear the shelves. I'd be out and I'd be listing it in the Amazon program from the store.
yeah.
And they would be selling out by the time I got to the next store. So I'd have 0 for a few minutes. And then I'd get to the next store and I found 5. I'd put those 5 on.
Now you know how it feels
And I
to be
did this.
Amazon when they're the only one on the listing.
So I did this, and every day I went to a different area. I made a loop. I must have circled Rhode Island in those
You must have
90
feel like
days.
you were robbing a bank or something. Like, that must have been wild.
I didn't know what hit me. I think my first payout 2 weeks after this was like almost $13,000. In fact, Avery asked me, he goes, what are you selling? I said, well, I tell you, I have to kill you. The only one downside to that out of the gate success was I built my store around that one product. So when Amazon jumped on the listing and started selling it for $11.99, because the product had
That's
just come
how it
out.
all ended.
The product had just come out.
So once Amazon came on a listing, yeah.
But I actually maybe had a case left in FBA when they came on.
Yeah.
And slowly I would sell them for break even.
What would people at the stores think?
The customers were nosy. What are you doing with all that cream? You know, they're looking at me like, what are you bathing it? And it's like, why are you even concerned?
Yeah.
But I had already made friends with the local managers of all my Walmarts and Walgreens. The stores, I send everything into FBA through a prep center. I don't usually touch my products. But for this one, because it was selling so fast, I didn't want to wait. While I was waiting for my stuff to get to FBA, I still had a supply at home.
Yeah.
So I could keep selling until they went live on FBA. Once they went FBA, they sold even faster because of the guaranteed 2-day shipping.
So that is why, if anyone ever meets you and they're like, why is she so excited about FBA?
It's like the feeling you get
We'll send them
when
this video.
you pull the slot machine, ding, 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 and you hit the stars or whatever you have to do to, the dopamine rush is enough to blow your head off.
And what was your husband thinking? Because this is actually a big challenge. A lot of people when they start a business, their family members and friends are like, oh, what if this happens? You're going to fail. You're not going to make money. And let's be honest, a lot of people do fail this business. It's not an easy business. It's not. I hate to say it. Any business is challenging, but Amazon is, I don't think it's easy.
It's simple, but it's not easy.
But there's a lot of nuances to it.
This is my 3rd year full time. I've come light years from day one. 3 years from now, I hope to double my knowledge even further.
Yeah.
I don't need to be a millionaire, but I'll be satisfied once I'm selling
You'll be able to
100,000 a
travel,
month.
enjoy, have money to do what you want, pay your bills.
My goal's 100,000 a
travel,
month.
Go to conferences and events and network and not have to worry about dropping $500 to $1,000, right? I feel like that's your dream, like just to do what you want when you want.
The fact that I could come here and spend weekdays in this house with people I love versus being at a boss chained to a desk wondering when am I going to have some free time. I mean, I probably work harder than I ever did at my carpet job, but because I love it, it doesn't feel like work.
So what would you say to folks who are watching?
You were talking about spouses.
Oh yeah. Tell me about what your husband thought about this whole thing.
My husband likes to sell on eBay. You know, he has a particular hobby and he collects stuff, and when he gets tired of it, he'll sell it on eBay. And he's watching Amazon success. Now, my husband's significantly older than I am, so getting into the computer was a little bit daunting for him.
Oh yeah.
And now he's at the point where if he hears the word Amazon one more time, he's probably going to set himself on fire. That's what he says. But he is so supportive because the joy and the happiness that is in our house every day, I'm able to be home with him now during the day because he's older. It's almost like I have to retire in advance.
Yeah.
So working from the house, at least he's close by.
Yeah.
And I don't have to work. If I need a break, I can take a break.
Yeah. You're not locked in a job or working at Walmart part-time or...
No, I don't have to. I sell stuff from the house. Sometimes I do mostly FBA, but going into fourth quarter, I like to double up and sell from the house and from.
By the way, we had a good fourth quarter talk for anyone watching who was at the mastermind.
Oh yeah,
Dineen was dropping some gold nuggets.
Just on how you can get free boxes, free products, how you can do things on the cheap. That's why I have the FBA group to help.
Let me go back to what I was saying before. Is like, what advice would you give people who are thinking like, oh, Steve's mom could do it, or Steve could do it, or Ben, or Dineen, like, but they're like, I don't know if I could do it. Like, maybe I'm not that smart, or I didn't go to college, or da-da-da-da-da.
The help out there is incredible. Networking is key. You have to like be willing to talk and be coachable or ask questions in the group and accept the answers that come back to you and
take action on it. Yeah.
So many people set up their store and then they get analysis paralysis or whatever and they don't do anything.
They list one bat or send out one shipment, then they let a month go by. You have to ship every single week, list every single week, and after it becomes second nature.
Exactly. And the reason in starting with books and DVDs is an awesome way to go because it's so cheap. If you spend $1 on a book, that potentially is going to make you $75, textbooks in particular, and something happens to the book, it gets damaged in shipping or it gets returned or for whatever reason, you've lost $1.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Whereas you don't want to make a $100 purchase and lose it.
Don't jump into OA and wholesale and private label and eBay
Cut
to
your
Amazon.
teeth on books.
Just start at level 1.
Cut your teeth on books. It's a cheap way to go. It's fun. You learn how to use your scanner. There's no pressure. Just learn on books.
Yeah.
And if you can't find books, got books during the pandemic. I had a vinyl sign made and put it on the back window of my SUV.
Really?
And when it said, need help getting rid of your books? call me, and it had my company logo and my
called you?
phone number. And people would call me and say, I have books, and I would make a pickup time. Well, we'll be in your area between noon and 3. Kindly leave them on the curb, and we will pick them up for you.
Oh, wow.
Because the Salvation Armies and the
Any good books you would get?
They weren't accepting any books.
Any good books?
I got killer books.
Yeah.
I cleaned out a
a good
whole
tip.
church myself. I rented a U-Haul. The lady said, we're having a book sale at the church. We don't know what to do with the books when we're done. And I said, I'll gladly take them away
take
for
them.
you. And I said, all you need to do is mobilize your youth group to load the truck, and I'll take it from there.
Yeah.
And I rented a U-Haul unit. I mean, a storage unit.
yeah.
It came with the truck, actually. You paid $88. You got the truck. I got a
Nice.
26-foot truck. They packed
That's
it
a big
solid for me.
truck.
It was a big truck. It was a big sale. All the books were in banana boxes, those little trays. They didn't even have lids.
Wow.
And the stairs, there was like 20 stairs from the church
Yeah.
basement to the ground level. So
Yeah.
thank God the young kids had it. I'd had a
Yeah.
stroke. So I had all the books, but I had nobody to help me unload them. So I unloaded all those books myself because I had to get the truck back the next day. The storage unit was up to the ceiling in books, and I spent the next week just scanning the books. But this is the kicker. Here's a nugget for those of you who are already involved. Here's a nugget. If you have a bunch of books and you don't know what to do with it, and your local library doesn't have the book donation box that you can send it in, that's what I do. But those books were overstuffed in the pandemic.
Oh.
And so there was nowhere to put books because you couldn't leave them on the ground
Yeah.
next to it.
Yeah.
And the stores were all closed at that time. So I just called up Discover Books. They came with their big truck with the lift thing that goes down on the ground. He rolled out the
All your
Gaylord
duds?
box thing,
Yeah.
picker-upper, and took all my books out of the storage unit. He was gone in 15 minutes. He came at 7:30
Was it all
in the
your
morning.
duds, like you
And this
scanned?
is before I went to work. I
You
said,
scanned them all, right? You took all
I
the good
scanned them all,
ones.
and these were the duds, and I probably had a good 600 or 700 pounds of duds. Now, I would never burn a book. People say, oh, we'll burn the
Yeah.
duds. Because once a book's
No,
gone,
no.
once a book's out of print, that's why books are so valuable, because once they go out of print, they're never to be seen again. And a lot of people don't like to use the Kindle. They want to turn the pages of a book.
Yeah.
Once a book's gone, it's gone.
Gone, yeah.
And I love books, so I don't have the
Yeah.
heart
Same
to
here.
murder
I like
them.
having a good physical book. You know?
Absolutely. So Discover Books they came for free, picked up all the books. I said, I have to be at work by 8. You have to be here by 7:30. They were there by 7:30. The kid got out. It was a one-man thing. He took them all out on this big machine thing, put them in the back of his truck, and off he went. Now, those books are going to get recycled to third world countries where they need reading materials because they're all essentially homeschooled in certain areas. So the books were being used again. So
Yeah.
my conscience is clear.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful thing.
That's good.
And I had enough books to last me a while. And I got to art books. You know, like when you go to an estate sale, you look for the art books,
Yeah.
the religion books, and the
Yeah.
music books.
Oh, the spiritual, all that.
All that, and you don't have
Yeah.
any middleman. A lot of these people are original owners, so the books are pristine. They're like new.
Yeah.
And I sell them like new.
Yeah.
I can't sell them new because I'm the.
You don't
they're-
want to sell books as new. Yeah.
They're not new.
Yeah.
New. They came out of the store, but they're perfect. It was a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And people said, you're pushing 60 years old and you drove a U-Haul truck, and I drove it well. I didn't crash into anybody. And knowing that I had all those books in the back, because I like to scan. I think it's
Yeah.
fun to scan. And my storage unit had connectivity. So I was able to scan in there
Oh.
and separate.
Yeah.
And my husband, I bought a second scanner, and I said, when you see this go green, I want you to
That's
set the
good.
book
Green is
aside.
good.
Green is good, and red is stop. I said, when you see the green books, I want you to put them over here, and then I'm going to give them
Yeah.
another look through.
Yeah.
And that was something else. And then I went,
Yeah.
I live near Brown University, which is an Ivy League school,
Yeah.
and all our
That's where you find the
practicing
best
doctors-
books if you're near universities.
near an Ivy League school.
Yeah.
These kids from other countries don't want to drag all their textbooks home, and they were selling to me for pennies on the dollar. They would sell me a $100 textbook for like $5. All they wanted was money to do Grubhub or order Uber Eats before
Yeah.
they're leaving. It's like shooting fish in a
cleaned
barrel. And it's fun. I love books. I like touching them. I
Yeah.
like looking through them.
Yeah.
And now I'm making money after I read some of them, and I make money after I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So to wrap things up, you've come a long way.
Yes, thank you.
You're doing great.
Thank
Again, folks should definitely follow you.
Yes.
On YouTube, right? Also, you have a Facebook group.
I do. I have a group where I train some local people in my area, and they were all asking me the same question, so I made a Facebook page.
Is it a free group?
It's a free group. I made a Facebook page where they can ask a question in there, and then when I answer it, everybody's learning at the same time.
Yeah.
And I have about 150 people in right there right now.
So let's join it. Come on.
And on Facebook, Amazon FBA Woman, anybody's welcome to join, and they'll get my attention. I don't know if you want my attention. You'll get my attention, and I'll give you my
careful.
opinion.
No.
And it's open to everybody. YouTube. I'm Amazon FBA woman on YouTube
Yeah.
and also Instagram. So I just started going
Yeah.
live on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm terrified because I don't know what I'm going to say when I make a video, but
Yeah.
the people interact on YouTube and I answer them that way. And it's fun because you get to know people who are thinking about getting in the business and you can talk to them about what's
Well, let's see how many new subscribers we can get. Go over, follow Dineen.
Thank you.
She's a really good person.
Thank you.
So tell it how it is. When I first met you, it was funny. I was like a little intimidated because you're very aggressive. But I learned that it's
use assertive.
Yeah. So when
I'm
I
in
first
denial.
So when I first met Dineen, she was very assertive, and I was like a little taken back at first because. But then, like, you become one of my good friends, and like you're the sweetest. And no, and all I'm not just saying this because we're on video.
No, I
like, you
know.
know, I've told you this before. Like, she cares more than like anybody. So if you connected with this video, go follow her, go check her out, and thank you so much for coming. Yeah, let me give you a hug. Yeah, I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Of
I owe
course.
you. I'm indebted to you.
Well, thank you so much, and appreciate everybody watching. Smash that like button. Go follow Dineen. Bye.